Man, well, I posted, hi Jen, I posted that meme yesterday with that little girl with her hair all over the place and the astral travel and the dream work and all that stuff. And I actually had almost 2 nights of like better sleep than usual, but last night, oh boy, I was up from 2 to 5, so that was a thing. I didn't even want to put my contacts in this morning, but when I leave my glasses on, the ring light reflects, and I was like, oh, it just won't do a ring light. But then I was so dark, you couldn't really see me. So things you need to know. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Tina. And coffee. So we have some things to chat about. I want to kind of pull some threads of the discussion that we had, that Jen and I had on Wednesday night about what it really boils down to is what it looks like to have yourself moving into new earth energy, right? And how to deal with old earth energy dynamics in relationships and that kind of thing. So I want to talk about that this morning a little bit with you guys, and also just kind of tap into weekend energy. And I really want to pull you a card, so hopefully that happens today. I've been wanting to do that the past 2 times, but for some reason it just isn't happening. Good morning, Rachel. And there was something else too. I need to start writing stuff down. Well, I was writing stuff down last night because I have learned sort of that when I get woken up like that and my mind is racing and I have all of these thoughts and ideas, that it does actually help me to put them down on paper, because it kind of, I don't know, appeases the middle of the night gods or something, that like, yes, I'm paying attention and I'm taking note of these things. But dreams have been really wild. They've been wild for a while, but December dreams, I don't know if you guys have been also feeling this. It's like they are so vivid and so long and just strange, bizarre, but like it's very easy to understand that we are doing stuff in our dreams now, because I don't remember another point in my life where, I would wake up and feel exhausted from my dreams, like I just don't remember that being a thing that was part of my life before, but it certainly is now. And I know that sometimes when I have those dreams and there's like one thing that sticks out when I wake up, I write that down or tell somebody right away, because that ends up being something, like some part of something that I'm working through. So dreams are important. And I think that as we move, here we go. Peony's already talking about this. Where is Peony? She's in my bedroom. That's also another reason why I probably couldn't sleep last night. For some reason, I thought it was a really good idea to bring her into bed with me last night. So, okay. So obviously she doesn't have to be in the room to tell me things. Okay, so about the dreams, I guess we're talking about that for a minute. So, I'll give you an example that will kind of illustrate this. We haven't necessarily been paying attention or told what dreams are. We have a lot of conjecture, but up until recently, it's been more of a, like almost fringe, right? And it's more like the people who believe dream state is really a place you go, or that you actually do stuff. Like it's not as accepted in it was not as accepted in mainstream as other things, but we are going to start to learn more about that. When you are sleeping, what happens, right? When you go into dream state, is it really just a soup of, subconscious thoughts and images from your day and things you picked up, and just kind of this conglomeration of randomness that you have in your, in your mind that just kind of comes out in different patterns based off of what's going on with you? Is that what dreams are? Or is when you kind of tap out and let your body sleep, do you actually do work? Is there healing taking place? Is there problem solving taking place? Is there connections? Are there connections being made? And the answer is yes, 100%. And I can tell you, like for me, I remember actually as a child, I used to ice skate. Okay, and I remember I would take lessons, and there was this one point where I was learning to do what they called a spiral, which I think it was called the spiral, which is just basically gliding with one leg, one foot down and one up, like that, right? And in my waking life, I was having a really hard time translating the idea of that to my physical body. Like it wasn't working. And I remember I went to sleep one night and I said, I'm gonna dream about it. And in my dream, I did a spiral, and it was easy, and my body could do it. And I kid you not, the next day when I went to the ice skating rink, I was able to do that spiral. And I will never forget that, because that was a million years ago. Like I was probably like 8 years old. So like 30 years ago. But I remember that because the obviousness of that connection was so strong to me. And as I moved forward in my life, even like at around that age, I kept that I kept that in the back of my mind. And I realize, looking back now, that I did, in my own, Sarah teenage way, understand the mechanics of manifestation and the power of thought and the power of dream state. Because when I actually did put my mind to wanting something, there was like nothing that could stop me from achieving that, even if everybody around me was like, no, that's kind of ridiculous, which has been most of the things that I do. So I remember that. I don't know why that's coming through now, but we are in a place now where we are actively, now my update's showing, we are actively, we're actively dreaming our world into being. So pay attention to what information is coming through for you in your dreams, because you are doing things. You are doing things in your dreams, and you also have the ability to set tasks before you go to sleep at night. So if there's something you want to learn, if there's some problem that in your waking life you're having issues detangling, give it to your dream state and say, like, here, show me what it is I need to know about this. Like, help me resolve it. And that actually is a thing that can help you in that unconscious state to find new pathways to travel through and open up new energy for yourself. So in your waking life, you are able to do these things differently. It's kind of like how we've been taught that our imagination is just kind of like a little playground and doesn't necessarily translate to the real life grown-up world. And we're like, grow up, stop living in La La Land. Well, all of those things only take us away from our manifestation power. Little children know this because they live and breathe in their imaginative state. And then we as adults are like, stop using your imagination. That's make believe, right? We do that. Hopefully we're knocking that off. But that is the place where all things are created. That's the inception point, right? Anything you see around you was a thought in somebody's imagination at some point that they then brought forward into the physical world. So now, moving into New Earth energy, that means your imagination is the powerhouse and is the fertile breeding ground for anything you want to see around you. And your dreams are a place where you can test things out. You can build mock-ups. You can, roam the halls of the castle, so to speak, and see if you want to do the things that are in your imagination. So we have these vast arrays of landscapes and tools and just magical energetics to tap into to help us to create whatever we want here on this earth. And now we're starting to remember that. So I think that to belabor my point here, we are coming into a place where the dreams are getting so intense because we're in that remembering. And so I anticipate, could be wrong, but I anticipate that as we move even closer and closer to the solstice, when the energies are going to be even more intense and, crazy, we're going to find that our dreams are even more and more and more intense and interesting and leading towards things. So I'm excited for that. At the same time, I do get tired too. I'm like, God, I just wish I could sleep for a minute. It doesn't seem to be a thing these days though. So what are you gonna do? All right, so I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about what Jen and I were saying on Wednesday night, but it's not really flowing great for that. So instead, I'm gonna pull us a card and imagine that we're gonna come back on that at another time, because there's so much to, when we talk about moving into new earth energetics, there's so much that needs to kind of be re-anchored, right? So all of the things, and I think we talked about this already this week, but I love repeating myself. All of the things that we've anchored as a society, as people, in fear, anything that's been anchored in fear, anchored in anger, anchored in division, anchored in any of those things, now we have to pull that out and anchor it in places of love. So that means we're restructuring, right? And in that restructuring, we're unlearning learned behaviors and redefining what it means to be a quote unquote good person, right? Because so many of the ways we've defined ourselves have been anchored in that old earth fear-based mentality and anchored in patriarchal society. So we're being careful now, right? When we move into this new energy, anything we create now, we certainly don't want to anchor into that old stuff, but it's a little tricky because we're not fully in the new, right? So what do? Well, again, I think this is where our dream state and our imagination is really coming into play, because that's how you find the place to anchor into. That's how you find the love space to anchor your new reality into, is by dreaming it up, is by putting it into your imagination and really fleshing it out there and seeing what that feels like. Because once you have a feeling, you can anchor into that feeling. So when we look at relationships, we look at our everyday, the day-to-day things we do, our consumption habits, the holidays, there's so many aspects that we each are probably going to have different places where we lean more heavily into, that we are well suited to be working on pulling out of old and putting into new. And I think that makes a lot of sense for us as well. Like, I know this is my sphere. This is where I'm supposed to be. This feels like my sweet spot. Talking about the energetics of it, and kind of offering that support system. I know some of my friends are very passionate about the education system, or the way business models work, and changing those systems and rooting them out of old earth and putting them into new earth. So all of us have our different things that we're here to assist with the restructuring. So it's exciting. All right, let's tap into weekend energy and see what we have in the cards. Is a nap in my cards. No, we're not playing those kind of cards. Okay, so there's gonna be two today, apparently. So 1 and 2 of them. Oh, interesting. All right, I'm pulling from the Fairy Forest deck. Oh my God. Jen, are you still on here? Because you're gonna laugh about this. Wow. All right, get my stuff together here. All right, so we have 2 cards for this weekend energy. And just a quick reminder, we're in between eclipses, right? We just had our lunar eclipse on Monday, and we have the solar eclipse on the 14th, okay? So we're in between eclipses. Important to note. The first card that came out before the gathering, celebration, anticipation, event. And of course, I will post these in the group. So this card says, for you, dear one, celebration is coming. A time to acknowledge the markings and passings of the great turns of the wheel, and for you to gather together with friends, relatives, and significant beings and ask them to unite in a common cause of joy for what has been achieved. It is time to look forward, to anticipate, and to prepare. For this event may even be taking place simply on an energetic level. All the beings who have long wished for your well-being now gather together to applaud the place where you are right now. It's our star family. This will be coming for you, and it is in the future. So this card is a great omen of good to come for you. It is time for you to put on your finest garments, take the very best goblets and chalices from their dusty hiding places, and raise a glass of bubbling fairy energy to the wonders of life. It may be your birthday or another occasion, such as a graduation, the acknowledgement of accomplishment, or the completion of a test. Whatever it may be, it is essential to mark the impending time with joy, applause, and an expression of bounty. Prepare, be ready, and enjoy, dear one. You deserve all that this exciting and exhilarating occasion heralds, for after the effort comes the reward. Soon, it will be yours. Can you even? That makes me so excited. I have more to say about that, but I want to read you the second card, because the second card is Soul Canon, number 16. And that may look a little scary, but it isn't. All right, Soulkin says this. We often wish for our relationships to endure long beyond their lifespan. Friendships and relationships have been drawn to us according to the lessons the soul wishes to learn. There are relationships that are more superficial, and then there are those that touch us deeply. With great love comes the possibility for pain, and each of us must come to some kind of peace with the truth that there are relationships that will not be sustained for this lifetime. When we feel this deep recognition, and when we find it very difficult to let a person go, we may be dealing with soul kin, a being with whom we may be traveling through lifetimes. This thread of relationship is strong and connected with you at present, and you have encountered a person who speaks to your very soul. Know that for now, this connection is grounded, nourishing, and full of faith. It may shift and change in time, but for now, the friendship is strong and full of mutuality, respect for each other's growth, and dedication to the highest purpose for you both. In time, this may change, as your souls have their own destinies, and this sometimes means there will be departure from a common code and path. But for now, this connection is one of soul family, of kin, and is one you can draw on for your own sustenance and also contribute to, for the beautiful purpose of being a shining light for others. Yeah, so fairies are dropping the knowledge bombs this morning, and it's a really beautiful and timely message for us as we roll into this last month of 2020, because the anticipation, the celebration, the joy, and the understanding that everybody is on their own unique journey, and we are respecting that. So some people are not going to be celebrating with us, even if they were celebrating with us a few months ago. And that can be really difficult for us to wrap our minds around, right? But respecting each other's journey, understanding that we're all here to experience something unique and different, and that creates beauty and texture in our world and new things to experience. So I know a lot of us are in that place where people are moving around, relationships are shifting, somebody who you were very close to last month, you may not even understand anymore. And so know that that is totally normal at this time. In fact, it's par for the course, and that doesn't make it any easier, but it does help to know that that's what the energy is speaking to, because there's lots of ascending, lots of shifting. And it's also important, and I think this card, one of these cards actually said it, it's really important to remember that this shift from new earth to old earth isn't one in which we, board transits and zip off to another dimension. It's right here, and it's happening in our bodies. We are upgrading in our own physical bodies. So you're not going to leave here just because you are raising up in frequency and jumping into fifth dimensional reality. It just means you are upgrading yourself to be able to be in that frequency. And maybe some people around you are not going to be in that frequency at this time. And that's neither good nor bad. It just is what it is. But we're not leaving, is what I'm saying. There's not going to be like this mass event where I feel confident saying this, that, the spaceships come down, they're like, all right, those of you with the special badge, get on here, we're out. That's not happening. We are doing the work here. We're bringing the new here. It's new earth. It's not a different earth. It's just new. So we're opening up a new chapter, which means we are opening up new chapters within ourselves, because as above, so below. And so remember that we're not ditching the meat suits or anything like that. So yeah, wonderful cards for this morning. They make me feel good. And as far as announcements go, Restoration is still open and free if you would like to join. As soon as you join, you will have access to the moon call, eclipse call that we did on Monday. And honestly, if you're like joining today, do it this weekend, because I don't see how that could possibly be a bad thing. So we've got that happening. Lots of exciting stuff happening next week that I'm going to do my best not to jump ahead of myself and talk about, but that's what's happening. And then next week I have my one event for the month, and that is the Crystal Skull Activation event. And so we have spots left in that. If you want to join us, it is virtual. You don't have to have a crystal skull, but you will learn about them and learn about your connection to them if there is one, and we'll just have a good time. Everybody will get some sort of a talking to from Peony, I'm sure. It's always fun when we gather in circles. So if you're interested, go ahead and do that. Restoration members, you can use your code for 25% off. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend. Drink a lot of water. And if you are enjoying my content, you will help me amazingly simply by sharing my video. It makes such a huge difference by sharing and also subscribing to my YouTube. So thank you guys so much for your support. I love you. Mwah. I'll see you Monday morning. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.